Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandhadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maritaha Tunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Before we start the class, I wanted to demonstrate a live example because some time ago we talked about, I think Girish ji asked a question. Is there? Yeah. How do prayers help? Our prayers help other people, isn't it? Was that the question, Girish ji?
Yes, please. Yes,
and
yes.
I gave a very brief talk on that, right?
Yes, thank you.
Now I wanted to tell you a very live example of that.
Okay.
Yesterday I went to a cardiologist here in Coimbatore.
Okay.
And he put me through all the tests.
Fine.
Echo test, then blood test, and also the ECG, etc.
Okay.
And now he says, I have no problem at all. My ejection rate has increased from 25% to 65%.
Oh, okay.
He says, your heart is a normal heart. It is functioning very normally. There is nothing to worry about.
That's good. Very good.
And of course, he has changed the medicine. He says the medicine that you are taking is only help you with blood pressure. But he said, I will prescribe a medicine which will also help in a better functioning of the heart. So he has changed the medicines.
Okay.
And very inexpensive medicine. A whole month medicine cost me only 600 rupees.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is, I have, of course, in the last 1 month or whatever it is, or maybe 15 days, 20 days, done something when that I was presented with a situation, probably by my karma,
Correct.
that
Okay.
there was a problem, right? You have, even though it was not life-threatening, but serious problem.
Okay.
I might have done something like, changing my diet, using my free will, changing my diet, doing little exercise, yoga, etc. Right?
Okay.
But the prayers, all of your prayers combined with whatever little bit free will I did, has actually changed the whole situation.
Hmm.
What better example you can have for the combination of karma and what
The prayers.
do you say, the fate and the free will and prayers. It's a very beautiful example that in 20 days I have become normal.
God bless. God bless. Sounds very good.
So
Guruji.
I wanted to share this good news with you.
Great
Even my
news.
sugar is coming down. It was 10.5. The HbA1 is
HbA1c.
it has now come down to 8.9.
Good.
But
Very
8.9 is because the 2 months of the the current reading includes the 10.5 2 months rather. So that I can, the only after 3 months, that is probably today we are in December, January, February end, if I take the reading, then I will know clean 3 months how the sugar has come down in terms of whatever we have been discussing that. So I wanted to share this good news
Please.
to all of you.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So
Excellent.
it takes a lot of burden, from my mind rather. So,
True.
but of course, I need to recoup in the sense that the process has happened, but little more time I will require if at all I have to come back to the 2 classes a week.
Ah.
But that is not a very important thing. We will decide that later as we go along. Okay.
We are very
And
happy.
do you still require to go through that diet and exercises which has
Well, I
been
mean, the doctor has said that nothing. I mean, you can have normal diet.
okay?
Whatever, like I asked him specifically, what about salt and all that? He said, no, whatever salt we normally use at home for cooking and all that, you can eat.
Fine.
But don't add salt. Like, for example, you are taking buttermilk, you add salt in that. That you don't do. That extra salt you avoid. Other than that, there is no restriction. You
Sounds-
can have a normal food. You can continue whatever you have been doing in terms of physical activity, medication, etc. Nothing will be there. And he said, you meet me after 1 month. We
Okay.
will see what more improvement we have achieved through medication in a month's time, and also your new regimen. So
Fantastic.
I'll be meeting him end of January. So this
God
is good
bless.
news I
Sounds
wanted
very
to
good.
share with all of you. And I must really, I'm very grateful to all of you for all your prayers, because I sincerely believe that that is one of the major components which has turned the entire, situation into a favorable situation.
Excellent.
What was
Excellent.
adverse has become favorable. Okay.
Very
Thank you
good.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so much
much.
for sharing this news.
Yeah,
A wonderful thing one news to start with the day with.
Raghuji,
Sorry. Yeah.
Raghuji,
Yeah.
the person I was talking about in Bombay was going in British Candy and all.
Ah.
My cardiologist I talking about, no?
Ah.
He is
No,
going in that.
not Rich Candy. He was a cardiologist.
No, I am talking about
You are
one of
talking.
my
Okay.
known person, Dr. Vishwanath. He also comes in the Mehta's clinic, I think.
Okay.
But his name is Dr. Vishwanath.
Okay. Here I consulted one Dr. Ram Prakash.
Okay.
He is actually a surgeon cardiac surgeon in GK Naidu Hospital.
This person was attending Breach Candy and Jaslok Hospital, the famous 2 hospitals in Bombay when I was there in Bombay.
Okay.
Distant relative of mine. Of course, not in contact with him.
Yeah.
I met his brother-in-law some time back.
You see the coincidence. This doctor he is in GK Naidu. GK Naidu group, they are the trustees, owners of the Anakati Ashram.
Ashram, okay.
Right. So
Okay.
what has happened is there were 2 instances. One, Mr. Nair is there in the office there, who is accountant.
Okay.
He had a serious heart problem, so he was taken to this doctor. He consulted this doctor, right?
Okay, you are talking about Ram Prasad in Coimbatore.
Ram Prasad in Coimbatore.
Okay. I agree. I know.
consulted the doctor in Coimbatore only, no?
Okay. Now you are in Coimbatore.
I am in Coimbatore now. I came on the 18th.
Okay. No, I didn't know
So then what happened was the ashram driver, one Murugan is there.
that. Okay.
He is, whenever I come to Coimbatore, I use his services rather. Right. Well, he only suggested That
Okay.
why don't you consult this Ram Prakash?
He is in the Vadavalli, this thing.
He is in that Lali Road, you know.
Lali Road junction, he is there.
Yes, so he is a heart clinic. It's a heart
Yeah,
clinic.
I know.
And
He
you
was
won't
in GK.
believe, Ramuji,
Uh,
it looked like a railway station platform. Some 50
Yeah.
patients waiting for him.
yeah, in the evening,
Evening 6 to 9 only.
Naidu has resigned from there now.
Yeah.
Now he is private clinic.
Private clinic. Morning he does hospital, evening private.
Yeah.
A very good
No,
doctor.
he is not no longer associated with the GK Naidu and all, I think. I don't know.
know that.
But he has his clinic in the Lali Road.
No, clinic evening only he comes, 6 to 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Morning probably he still goes to the hospital, or I don't know that. I didn't ask.
I don't know that.
So
One of my neighbors used to go to him.
okay.
GK and I had taken them at that time.
Okay. Anyhow,
That's
all
it.
these concerns, because that his connection with this Sanekati, and then, my driver telling me he's a good doctor, you can go to him, and all that, that is how karma acts.
That and the GKNM, then Vaidyanathan was there from our
Right.
village,
Okay.
from Palakkad.
Anyhow, so
Okay.
thank you all very much for that. Now,
Okay, then.
with a renewed vigor, we will enter into the class. So we were seeing the fourth sloka of the 7th chapter. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu khammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. So after completing the introductory verses, Krishna has now entered into the central teaching of the 7th chapter from this 4th verse onwards. And as I said in the last class, up to 12th verse, the central teaching of the 7th chapter is there, where we get the Ishvara Swarupa revelation, revealing the nature of God, which is purely based on Upanishadic teachings. As I said, Krishna has not added anything from his own side. Because some people may say, whenever Krishna is using the word mam or me, means me or mine, people think, oh, Krishna is very egoistic. He is telling everybody, you surrender to me, you pray to me, you always have me in your mind and all that. That is not Krishna as Krishna the Jiva. That is Krishna as the Paramatma which is speaking. So we must understand that. And we saw in the last class how the Upanishads present Ishvara as Jagat Karana, cause of the universe. In both aspects, material cause and also material cause means Upadana Karanam, and the intelligent cause, Nimitta Karan. So both the causes are woven into one, and therefore Ishvara is presented as Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. And we also saw how the one and the same entity can be both, with the example of a spider spinning its own web from its own body. And in the Upanishads, which Krishna also adopts, Ishvara consists of two principles, as Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. These two principles are known in different Upanishads by different names. Krishna uses these two terminology. Para Prakriti, higher principle, and Apara Prakriti, the lower, inferior principle. Let us not use the word inferior, lower principle. So, Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti, both of them put together is Ishvara. And then we discuss some common features and some uncommon features of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. The common feature is both of them are beginningless and they are eternal, endless. They were never created, nor they will be destroyed. They are Anadi and Ananta. That was the common feature. And then we discussed 4 uncommon features differentiating the para prakriti and apara prakriti. The first one was para prakriti is chetana tattva. It is consciousness principle, and according to scriptures, consciousness can never be created nor destroyed. Whereas apara prakriti is achetana tattva, material principle, matter principle, and is of the nature of being jadam, inert. So the mixture of consciousness and matter is called Bhagavan, Ishvara, God. That's one difference. Second difference is para prakriti consciousness in its pure form is without attributes, physical or chemical attributes. It is nirguna chaitanya. Whereas apara prakriti, the lower nature, the material nature, is saguna swarupam, which has got all the properties that you know, that you find, that you discover. So one is nirgunam, the other is sagunam. Then the third difference between para prakriti and apara prakriti is para prakriti, which is chetana nirguna tattvam, the attributeless consciousness, is free from all modifications. It never undergoes change under any condition. All changes take place at the matter level alone. And therefore in Sanskrit we say para prakriti is nirvikara tattvam, without modification, and apara prakriti is savikara tattvam. Savikara means subject to modifications, continuous modifications. And the fourth difference is para prakriti, the chetana tattvam, is said to be satyam. Here satyam means not merely truth but independently existed. Whereas apara prakriti, the achetana tattvam, the jada tattvam, will have to depend upon chetana tattvam for even its existence. And therefore para prakriti is said to be satyam or swatantra hai, and apara prakriti is mithya, paratantra hai. So these are the differences we have discussed between apara and para prakriti. Even though in the Upanishads, many more differences are pointed out. But then these four are important differences, main differences, for us to understand what is Bhagavan, what is Ishvara. So these two, para prakriti and apara prakriti, put together is Ishvara, and that Ishvara is the cause of the creation. That is our understanding. And here Krishna is presenting the creation in two stages: intermediary stage and the final stage. In the intermediary stage, all the elements, etc., evolve in a subtle form, and therefore we cannot perceive them. They assume a gross form in the final stage, and what we experience, what we perceive in the universe, is the gross form of all elements. And here in this shloka, Krishna presented the creation in the intermediary stage. That is evolution in subtle form. And when we say, we must remember subtle form, gross form, etc., it only applies to the matter or material principle. It does not apply to consciousness principle, because we have seen that consciousness in its original form cannot undergo any change. It is nirvikara. So consciousness remains as it is, and all changes take place in the matter principle. And here, based on Sankhya philosophy, Krishna presents that one apara prakriti, the material aspect, multiplies itself into eightfold, ashtada apara prakriti, at the intermediary stage. And therefore, at the intermediary stage, we have got 9 factors. Eightfold apara prakriti plus 1 para prakriti. And in this verse, he presents the eightfold apara prakriti as what? Bhumihi, apaha, analaha, vayuhu, kham, manaha, buddhihi, and ahankaraha. We must remember that all these are all subtle elements. Bhumi is not the earth that we experience. Bhumi is the subtle Bhumi. And these are subtle elements at the macrocosm level, at the cosmic level. And Krishna presents Para Prakriti as the very observer, as the Sakshi Chaitanya. So the very Jiva Tattvam, the very observing consciousness principle, that you are Para Prakriti. So whenever we talk of consciousness, what was till now a Paroksha Jnanam, consciousness being something different from me, now becomes Aparoksha Jnanam. That all-pervading, limitless consciousness, which Upanishads talk about, needs no searching, because it is the individual you, the observer. And this is what is reflected in the Mahavakyams like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. And as I said in the class, the last class, the eightfold division of Apara Prakriti which Krishna makes in this sloka, they are all technical terms based on Sankhya philosophy. So you can just understand it as matter principles, intermediary stage. Because like any other subject matter, like any other science, Vedanta also has got technical words, its own terminology. And that's why Tattva Bodha is a very good primer or Prakarana Grantha for learning all the Vedanta terminologies. If not all, at least most important Vedanta terminologies. And the same terminology may mean different, have a different meaning when it is not used in the Vedanta context. For example, we talk of inflation in economics. What is the literal meaning of inflation? The economic inflation is totally different from the inflation of a cycle tube or a football. There, inflation means to pump air. Similarly, in banking, we use a term called freezing the accounts. It does not mean that you take the account books and put them in a freezer. There, the word freezing is a jargon occurring in that particular subject matter, banking subject matter. Thus, every science has got its own terminologies, its own jargons. And here the word manaha, buddhi, ahankara are words occurring in Sankhya philosophy. In fact, Shankaracharya in his commentary makes some corrections also here. He says the word manaha should be understood as and replaced by the word avyaktam. Similarly, he says buddhi should be termed as mahat and ahankara hai ahankara hai. So, according to Shankaracharya's Bhashyam, his translation, his interpretation of this particular sloka, we have got the Pancha Bhutani, Avyaktam, Mahat and Ahankara as the 8 elements. 3 plus 5, 8 principles, together making the intermediary stage or Apara Prakriti. And at this stage, you remember, these are all subtle stages. All the 14 lokas have not come into existence. All our physical bodies have also not come into existence. Like in Big Bang theory, they talk about. What was the condition of the universe 1/100th of a second after Big Bang? Then 1/10th of a second after a Big Bang. Then after 1 second, after 1 hour, after so many hours, something like that, When you study the Big Bang theory, you will know how the evolution they talk about. It's all cosmology. Sankhyan cosmology. Anyway, these 8 put together are called Apara Prakriti. So he says, Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. This is the Apara Prakriti divided 8-fold. Bhinna means divided. So, having introduced the Apara Prakriti at the intermediary stage as the evolution of the subtle elements at the cosmic level, now Krishna wants to introduce Para Prakriti, the higher nature, because he has not yet done so. Therefore, he is going to do that in verse number 5. Okay, we will read the verse. Apareyamit astvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. The Anvaya is iyam apara vidhi anyam itahatu me param prakritim jiva bhutam yaya idam jagate dharyate he mahabaho. Iyam, this eightfold nature, apara, is my lower nature. Vidhi, may you know. Anyam itahatu, which is distinct from this lower nature. Me param prakritim, to be my higher nature. Jiva bhutam, and which is in the form of jiva. Yaya, by which idam jagat, this universe, dharyate, is sustained. He Mahabaho, O Arjuna. So he says, this eightfold nature, which I have described in the previous sloka, is my lower nature. And may you know that that nature is distinct from my higher nature, which is in the form of jiva, by which this universe is sustained, O Arjuna. So again, a very important, significant verse from Vedantic angle. Krishna says, Iyam apara. So the eightfold material principles mentioned in the previous verse is called apara. The word Iyam indicates the eightfold principle. In the previous verse is called apara prakriti, the lower nature. Because according to the scriptures, matter is also inferior, energy is also inferior, because both matter and energy come under achetana tattvam, inert principle. What is inert? Just like a stone or a wooden piece is inferior to a live body, isn't it? Like that, all these inert things are inferior, lower of lower nature. So iyam apara means this, referring to the 8 apara prakriti. Anyam itahatu, anyam, distinct, itahatu, from that. So quite distinct from that apara prakriti. Me param prakriti vidhi. Vidhi means may you know. Me param prakriti, my higher nature, which is superior. And the consciousness or the scriptures consider consciousness as superior because, according to the scriptures, consciousness is neither matter nor energy. In fact, many of the scientists earlier, when they were researching, they were considering consciousness as a form of energy. It was a mistaken notion. Now they are slowly coming around that consciousness is neither matter nor energy, but it's an independent principle. They're still not able to figure out what exactly it is because they are looking for something, object called consciousness. They will never get. There is no need to look for consciousness anywhere, just I said just a little while ago. You are the consciousness. So, how can you go searching for yourself? So, Shastra, therefore, doesn't look upon consciousness as a form of energy, because energy is subject to change. Mechanical energy, electrical energy, magnetic energy, all these are all interconvertible. Electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy in the fan, and it is converted into sound energy in the radio. So energy is subject to modification, whereas consciousness is that principle which is not subject to modification. And therefore, consciousness is neither matter nor energy. Then what is consciousness? We have no other word to define. Consciousness is consciousness. That's all. And therefore, he says, Me param prakritim vidhi. May you know my higher nature, which is other than matter and energy, which is beyond scientific study, which is beyond our observation, which is beyond the physical and chemical laws. In fact, as I said, some of the kind scientists themselves have now concluded that consciousness is beyond physical and chemical laws of nature. The quantum physics, when they are researching into this, called quantum physics, they are now coming to a situation that there is something which is making everything work, but they cannot lay their fingers on that something. So now if you want to locate para prakriti, where and how do you find it? Of course, you know that para prakriti is also very much within this creation only, just as apara prakriti is here. Para prakriti is also very much within this creation. As we saw, creation is what? Combination of para and apara prakriti. So both are existing. But how to locate it? So what we do? We first observe the universe and make a bucket or a basket called apara prakriti basket. And when we observe, we see whether anything is changing or not. And changing, I am not meaning that changing within a short period of time. Observe it over a long period of time, even some stars, etc., billions of years. Observe them. Are they changing? And we find they are changing because scientists tell us, cosmologists tell us that the stars all one day the star is extinguished, become a black hole, or sucked into a black hole, becomes non-existent. So change from existence to non-existence. So when you find that something is changing, put it in the apara bucket. And again, look at the creation. Observe that whatever you see or come across is subject to modification. Even space, according to Einstein, according to the scientists, it is expanding continuously, which means even space is changing. And therefore, you cannot rule out everything because all of them are changing. They all come under Apara Prakriti. They're all changing. But we are searching for the unchanging Para Prakriti, which is nowhere to be seen. So the search continues. We go on searching, and that is what scientists have been probably doing last 200, 300, 400 years. Therefore, having observed the world, excuse me, so having observed the world and ruled it as Apara Prakriti, what happens? All outside you are seen. Now you come to your own body. What do you find? Body is also changing, going out of shape. Heart is weak. Sometimes heart becomes, healthy sometimes. Sorry. You go to the gym to stop the body from changing. Maybe sometime it helps, or even that also changes because your fat body becomes thin. It's another change. Your muscles become strong, another change. So body keeps on changing, you observe. Shad Vikara happens. What about the mind? Don't have to ask. It is not only constantly changing, but also violently changing. One split moment, it is not in the same place. Flow of thoughts keep on coming. Therefore, body is Apara Prakriti, mind is Apara Prakriti, world is Apara Prakriti. In fact, whatever I observe is Apara Prakriti. So I don't seem to find Para Prakriti at all. But Krishna is telling that there is Para Prakriti, and Krishna cannot be wrong. So where to find Para Prakriti, which we are unable to find and we cannot find also. Krishna reveals the answer. And Krishna does it very beautifully. Krishna says that any experience requires two entities. One is the experienced and another is the experiencer. So what you experience is Apara Prakriti. And Para Prakriti is you, the experiencer. Because you, the experiencer, or consciousness principle, or inert, whether you are consciousness principle or inert principle, if you are an experiencer, you have to be a consciousness principle only, and therefore the observer. Because we have now ruled that the body, mind, sense complex is all Apara Prakriti. So what is left? Atma is left. Jivatma is left, which is Para Prakriti. The observed Shariram is Apara Prakriti. The observed mind is Apara Prakriti. But the observer Jiva, the one who is aware of this entire universe, the body, mind, sense complex, the experiencer, the I, the real I am Para Prakriti. Tattvamasi. Krishna says, Para Prakriti is you. You are that Para Prakriti, the Sakshi Chaitanyam. And that is why I said this verse is important, because this contains a Mahavakyam. What is Mahavakyam? Mahavakyam is that which equates the Jiva and Ishvara. So when it says you are the Para Prakriti and you are very much part of this entire cosmos, and the cosmos of consisting of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti is Ishvara, you are that component of the cosmos, that is Ishvara, which is the observer component, not the observed component. If you understand this, your Vedanta is over. That is the most important message of the entire Advaita Vedanta. And therefore, Krishna wants to say that the whole creation is a mixture of Para and Para Prakriti. Mixture of Para Prakriti, the observer, and Apara Prakriti, the observed, experienced. This is the creation. Therefore, he says, Hey Mahabaho, O Arjuna, the powerful one. Mahabaho means strong hands. It is not enough that you have powerful arms. Better you have a powerful intellect also, buddhi also. Hey Mahabaho, Jiva Bhutam Vidhi. May you know the Para Prakriti as the very Jiva, the very consciousness, the experiencer behind the body-mind complex. Just as electricity, the invisible one is blessing the fan, the light, the bulb, all the gadgets, and enlivens them, so to say, activates them. Just as the electricity, the invisible principle is behind all these gadgets activating them, this inert body-mind complex is enlivened and activated by the blessing of consciousness. And that consciousness is my higher nature. So Jiva Bhutam Vidhi. And what is the glory of that consciousness? He says Yaya. Because of that consciousness principle alone, Idam Jagat Dharyate. The entire inert material universe is sustained and maintained. At the physical body level, the consciousness is experienced in the form of the very life principle. If you have any doubt, just touch your body. Body is sentient. Means what? Body is blessed by the consciousness principle. And as long as there is life, the body is together and functioning. The moment the life principle is not there, what happens? Body starts disintegrating. Our dear body or somebody else's my dear body has to be disposed of at the earliest. 4 hours finished. You have to immediately take it and burn it or bury it, whatever it is. And extend this logic to the cosmic level. The whole cosmos is in harmony only because of the intelligence principle, the Chaitanya Tattvam. The world is functioning as though a comic human being because of Para Prakriti alone. The whole world is in harmony. And that is why in our religion we look upon the universe as a cosmic person. The visible part of the creation is Apara Prakriti. The invisible sustaining principle is called the Para Prakriti. And the creation itself is called a cosmic person. And that is why we have Purusha Suktam. The word Purusha in this Purusha Suktam means cosmic person, and the Purusha Suktam is the description of this cosmic person. And Swami Paramatmanandaji brings out, for those who know Tamil, Those who don't know Tamil, please excuse me. But this is a beautiful thing I wanted to share. Swami Paramarthandaji says cosmic person means Perum All. Perum means big in Tamil and All means person. And this body, mind, sense complex is Chinna All. Chinna means small, All means person. So the whole cosmos is Perum All. And that is why we call in Tamil God as Perumal. I'm sure that similar name in other languages also will be there. So that is Bhagavan. In Tamil, Perumal. So idam jagat dharyate sustains the entire cosmos. Krishna continues. Etadhyonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham krishnasya jagatah prabhava pralayasthatha. The Anvaya is Upadharaya iti sarvani bhutani etat yonini aham prabhavaha tata pralayah krishnasya jagatah. You can add asmi to complete the sentence. Upadharaya iti. May you ascertain that sarva bhutani, all things and beings, etat yonini, have these two prakritis as their cause. Aham prabhavaha, therefore I am the source. Tata pralayaha, as well as the ground of dissolution. Krishnasya jagataha, of the entire universe. And as I said, asmi, we can complete the sentence. So, may you ascertain that all things and beings have these two prakritis as the material cause and the intelligence cause. Therefore, I am the material source as well as the ground for dissolution of this entire universe. So here, Krishna talks about the conversion of the intermediary stage into the final cosmos. Because in the previous two verses, he had talked only about the intermediary stage consisting of one para prakriti and eightfold apara prakriti. It is a subtle stage, plant stage as it were. Now, Krishna says from this plant stage alone, the huge tree of cosmos consisting of gross elements as well as elementals are created. So gross elements means what? Akasha, gross Akasha, gross Vayu, gross Agni, gross Apaha, and gross Prithvi. You do not say gross consciousness. There is no consciousness is always subtle. So the five elements. And not only elements, but elementals are also created. Elementals means what? Products which are formed by the combination of elements. For example, our body itself is one of the combination assemblies. Our body is itself a combination of all the Panchabhutani, the five elements. We have got earth in the body. There is water in the body. In fact, water alone gives shape to the body. And then there is fire in the body in the form of temperature. Also, fire is there in the form of Jataragni, which helps us to digest the food we eat. Temperature is very important. You may go to Kailasa, Badrinath, or Canada, Toronto, where it is minus 30 degrees. Whatever be the temperature, but bodies maintain the temperature. So Agni Tattvam is there, Vayu is there in the form of breath. Akasha is there, empty space is there. Where all empty spaces are there, I leave it to your imagination. Shastra says in the heart there is empty space. In short, the body is an elemental. And in Sanskrit, an elemental is called bhautikam. So, element is called bhutam, elemental is called bhautikam. Krishna says, out of this plant stage, the intermediary stage, bhuta bhautika prapancha is created. So, sarvani bhutani, all the things and beings that you experience, from the minutest microorganism to the most evolved human body, everything, etat yonini, has its cause as me, the para apara prakriti. Both para and apara prakriti have their cause in me. Because Bhagavan is what? Combination of both. Here, etat means mixture of para and apara prakriti, and yoni means the source. So the para-apara mixture alone is the source of the entire creation. And this para-apara mixture is called God. And therefore, God alone has evolved in the form of this creation. See, Krishna is revolutionizing the concept of God itself. Until we study this, our concept of God is what? A person sitting beyond the cloud somewhere, Shiva with Parvati sitting in Kailasham, or Vishnu with Vishnu lying in Adisesha in Milky Ocean with Lakshmi at his feet. Brahmaji sitting on a lotus which has manifested out of Vishnu's belly button. This idea is very good for the beginning stage because we cannot appreciate God in its true nature in the beginning. And that is why even other religions, they are still stuck at that beginning stage itself. Their scriptures do not take them beyond the beginning stage to know what God exactly is. So they talk about heaven, God, judgment day, or another religion, they talk about, Jannat, etc. God is sitting there. And when you do all these things, kill kafirs, you will go to Jannat and God will provide you 72 beautiful ladies, etc. All funny description of God. So here Krishna is presenting God in a totally different, different way. And that is because our scriptures are very much evolved. We have reached the highest of the truth. And our entire life, the Varnashrama Dharma, has been designed only for us to lead to the ultimate truth. To lead us through all this apara prakriti business to para prakriti and eventually to moksha. And therefore, what the scriptures do, they introduce God in 3 levels. First, Puranas. They introduce God as a person. Then the next stage, we will see in Bhagavad Gita itself. Vishwarupa Darshana. God as the universe. And finally, when we come to the Upanishads, God as the Nirguna Chaitanyam, the attributeless consciousness is presented. Absolute truth. Abstract truth. And very few people can appreciate God as the abstract truth. But that is why, mathematics is an abstract science. Many of the things in mathematics are abstract, and that's why most of the students, they don't like mathematics. They can't understand mathematics. Very few people can understand the philosophy of mathematics because it's all abstract. And therefore, God is never presented in the beginning in our scriptures. God is presented as a person in the beginning, then as the universe, and then as the absolute truth. Para Prakriti. So now here Krishna says, do not look upon God as a person. Learn to look at everything as my own manifestation. Therefore, Sarvani Bhutani iti upadharaya. Upadharaya, as I said, means assert in your mind, digest, assimilate this teaching. And not only the whole universe evolves out of me, the whole universe rests in me alone. And what is the fate of this universe? In fact, the scientists who talk of Big Bang theory or cosmology talk of Big Bang theory. And that also there is a lot of controversy whether it is right or wrong. Once upon a time, Big Bang theory was the most popular theory. According to this theory, creation at the time of Big Bang started evolving and expanding. And they say even now the universe is expanding. Now, what they are worried or wondering is whether this expansion will be eternal or will it stop. And if it stops, will it stop permanently and reverse it, or will it reverse back? Because some scientists talk of big crunch. Big crunch is opposite of Big Bang. Big crunch means the whole thing will expand, reach a stage. Thereafter, the whole thing will come back to singularity. This is what is the quantum physics is now finding out. They call it singularity. And then again they will expand. So this is, see, can you see something in this? So they're all wondering, is this what is the reality of the entire universe? We have understood the reality thousands and thousands of, maybe millions of years ago. According to the scriptures, the evolution of the world will have to be reversed later. Srishti will have to be followed. Srishti and Sthiti will have to be followed by Pralayam. And at Pralaya time, what will be there? The whole universe will be in seed form. Then again, Para and Apara Prakriti, it will expand. The whole process may take millions of years. So we have nothing to worry now. All this is not going to happen in our own lifetime. So we can relax. If you remember, Krishna spoke about this in the second chapter itself. Avyakta bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidanan yeva tatra ka paridhevana. What is manifesting will go back into unmanifest condition. Again, it will come into manifestation. And if you want a mini Srishti Sthiti Layam, Bhagavan gives an example. It happens to us daily. During morning time when we wake up, all our activities evolve from us, thoughts evolve, actions evolve. The moment we wake up, all these things happen. And during night, everything is withdrawn into us. Actions are withdrawn, thoughts are withdrawn, but not permanently. All these exist in potential form. And next morning again start. Next night again close. Therefore, the whole creation is a cyclic process. If we observe our own body, we will understand the whole process of creation. Ours is what they call, the model. What is the terminology? Working model or something they call, some model for the entire creation. So more we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Dhanyavada everyone.
Thank you.
Thank-
Thank you.
thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Dhanyawadaha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank
Wish
you.
you the best. May
Thank you.
Coimbatore give you the best.
Dhanyawad.
Now, when I was traveling, I had a little bit of, anxiety, whether this travel is good or not and things like that. Now I'm very, relieved. A small travel and all I can undertake. Maybe I will have to think about going to US and things like that and all, but that's not going to happen in 25. If at all it happens, it will happen in 26. So enough time is there. He can think
No,
of
this is certainly a confidence boosting measure.
confidence. I mean, you see how words affect us, When one
Definitely.
doctor says that you will have to, be in this condition throughout your life, so depressing.
Exactly.
Even though we read Vedanta, everything and all, apara prakriti, but still, when it comes to us, it is depressing.
Definitely,
But the
definitely.
same difference, see, the doctor says your heart is fine, there is nothing wrong. In fact, first he said it's almost fine. Then he corrected himself. He said, why almost? It is fine. Fully fine. 65% ejection rate is a very good rate for your
But-
age.
But this is such a wide difference, 25 to 65.
25 to 65, wide
Uh-huh.
difference. Now, whether that is, well, what happens is, sometimes when we are having serious problem in terms of breathing trouble and things like that,
Mm.
which could be the contribution of the heart pumping.
Correct, correct,
problem.
correct.
At that point, if you take the reading, the heart will show very poor performance only.
True, true, true.
But when you have now overcome that and then you see the heart, it will show good performance. So that is also not wrong. This is also not wrong. And this is what, I have seen. When you go to a doctor, some people have got this, what they call, the
White coat syndrome. White coat syndrome.
White coat syndrome. I have that. Whenever I used to take BP earlier, a doctor will ask me to lie down and take BP. My BP will be high.
Hmm.
2-3 times he will take, and then he has prescribed BP medicines to me. Which medicines I have been taking all along, 10 years, 12 years, I have been taking that medicine. That time and all, as I was on medication, everything was fine, normal BP and all. Now, actually, whether that BP which the doctor saw at that time was a real, but then one thing is there, I will give the credit, because by taking the medicine, my BP did not become low. Because otherwise, if you are normal BP, then if you take medicines, it will lower the BP. So that I did not experience. So
Go below normal.
that is also there. This is also there. We don't know. I mean, we are not the doctors, and I don't think any doctor is perfect. Every doctor has, depending upon his own experience, his own knowledge, he will prescribe things. So we must have Shraddha in all the doctors. That is what. Whomsoever we go to. Because that doctor, whatever medicine he gave, the Bombay doctor, it has helped me to reach this stage. Isn't it?
Certainly, certainly.
So that is to be appreciated.
Always hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the
Okay,
best. Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank
Namaskaram.
you. Any questions?
Thank you, Guruji.
Subject related question. Okay, nothing, no hands are going up. So we'll close the session and continue next week. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.